It's estimated that 97% of Americans don't get enough fiber. Are you a part of the 97%? Stay tuned. I got you. Welcome back to the Chef Boy RDN podcast with your host, the Chef Boy RDN. Today we are going to be talking all about fiber. Now, fiber. Why is it important? So important that even though it's kind of in the carb family, it got its own episode. Well, because it does so many different things in the body. Fiber is the unsung hero of our nutrition. A lot of times we just don't get enough because fiber is found in more whole foods, whole grains, nuts, seeds, vegetables, fruits, and a lot of times our diet right now isn't that rich in those things for most people. So it's kind of hard sometimes to get enough fiber in, but that's where I come in. I'm going to tell you where you can find fiber. I'm going to tell you how much you need. We'll talk about the different types of fiber. We also are going to do ChefBoyRDN Tries It. I have a special treat for that one today. And finally, we're going to get into the vitamin of the week, all coming up on the ChefBoyRDN podcast. So I keep saying that fiber is important. And before we talk about what fiber does in the body, I want to kind of start with the two types of fiber that we tend to eat. So with fiber, you have two different types, soluble and insoluble fiber. And both of them kind of they overlap a little bit, but they kind of do different things in the body. So when it comes to soluble fiber, this means that it can actually dissolve in water. And when it gets into the intestines, it actually becomes like this gel-like substance. So an example of that is pectin. Pectin is a soluble fiber, and pectin is found in high amounts in apples. Now, if you ever made jam or jelly using pectin, you'll know that it's a thickening agent, right? It's a thickening agent because it becomes gel-like in water, and that's where you get jelly from. That's where you get jam from. So in the body, soluble fiber helps to lower the bad cholesterol, those LDLs, and it also helps to regulate glucose levels. So it's the thing that helps our glucose not spike so high, definitely. Now, when we have soluble fiber, you can get that from places like apples, like I said earlier with the pectin. You can also get it from legumes. You can get it from oats. Oats is a big one. You can get it from citrus fruits. You can also get it from barley. And yeah, a lot of whole grains. Now, when we talk about insoluble fiber, this is going to be fiber that does not dissolve in water. And this fiber actually helps to bulk up stool. So that's the fiber that helps you to go to the restroom. Helps to keep you regular. It also helps just food to pass through our digestive system, our stomach and our small intestines a little quicker. It also helps to, I think that's everything, right? Yeah, bowel movement. And it helps with our gut, our microbiome. It helps with the good gut bacteria. It is what they eat off of. So insoluble fiber is very good for us too. We can find that in wheat. We can also find it in wild rice. We can find it in leafy vegetables and non-starchy vegetables. So that's that insoluble fiber. So what do we use fiber for? What does it do in the body? Well, I kind of explained with the soluble and the insoluble fiber, but just to reiterate, helps with our digestion. So it helps aid in bulking up stool, which helps it to pass quicker. So it keeps us regular. Now, you do have to use it with a combination of fiber and water, because if you're just using water, it will bulk up, or if you're just using fiber, will bulk up the stool. And if it's not properly lubricated down there, it's going to be hard to come out. So you want to make sure you're drinking some good water with that. Um, it also helps again with our heart health overall. That is the reason that oatmeal or oats have that heart healthy symbol. Same reason that Cheerios have the heart healthy symbol. It's not because Cheerios and oatmeal is magical. It's just because they got fiber in it. And fiber in general helps with our heart health. If we are lowering those HDLs, that means that we are lowering our risk of developing cardiovascular disease, which is the number one killer in America today. It also helps with blood sugar regulation overall, as we talked about in our last episode, which when we talked about carbohydrates. And of course, we are coming to an end of our 4-part series ending on fiber, but it helps with blood sugar regulation. So when we just eat simple carbohydrates, as we talked about last week, our blood sugar spikes up pretty quickly. If we eat more complex carbohydrates, meaning that they have fiber, they have protein, they have vitamins, and they are longer chains of sugars, it takes a lot longer to break down in our body. And so it helps to keep us satiated or feeling fuller longer when we eat fiber rich foods. It also helps for our blood sugar, the sugar that's in our body won't enter into the blood so quickly. It helps with weight management because, again, it helps us to feel fuller longer. Also, can help with bloating overall and a lot of digestive issues because you are helping with that microbiome or the good gut bacteria. And so when that is flourishing and when it's doing well, a lot of digestive issues can be solved. And yeah, those are a lot of good things. It's a lot of good things that it does in the body. So that's why fiber is so important for us. Now, how do we add more fiber into our diet? Well, whole foods, whole grains, vegetables, fruit. These are things that aren't new, right? But these are the things that have fiber. So, one of the things I talked about last time briefly was a lot of times as dietitians, one of the go tos that we like to tell people is to swap white rice for brown rice. But to be honest, it's not that much of a difference to make that swap if you don't like brown rice. But wild rice is something worth thinking about because wild rice has a lot more fiber in it. Choosing berries. Berries are going to be fiber rich. Potatoes with the skin on. So if you eat a potato and you keep the skin on, sweet potato, regular potato, it's going to be high in fiber. Now you take the skin off, you're not really having any fiber. Whole wheat bread, whole grain bread. That one is a little like when they whole grain bread, not multi-grain. Okay, this is the difference. Multi-grain bread just means it's made up of multiple grains, but that doesn't mean it has the whole grain in there. When it has the whole grain, a whole grain has the outer husk, the endosperm, and the inner part of it. And the outer husk is the thing that holds all the fiber. So when we take the outer husk off, like we do when we take brown rice and turn it into white rice, we remove all of the fiber it has. So if you see anything that says whole grain, the fiber content is likely going to be higher. You always want to look for things, if you're trying to get some fiber in your diet, more fiber in your diet, look for things on the back of the label that say 3 grams of fiber or more. The higher you can get, the better. Going back to berries, wild blueberries are going to be pretty high. Blackberries, raspberries are really high. And think about it, it's got all those seeds in it. That's going to be a part of that fiber. Strawberries also have some good source of fiber. Kiwis, any of your leafy green vegetables. So not just kale, though kale does have fiber. Not just Swiss chard, though Swiss chard does have fiber. Turnip greens, collard greens, mustard greens, spinach. All of those things are going to have fiber. Any of your Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, broccoli, all of those are going to have fiber. If it's a what we call a non-starchy vegetable, it's going to have fiber. The easiest way to explain non-starchy vegetables is to think about garden vegetables, right? So everything I just named, those leafy vegetables, the broccoli, the Brussels sprouts, all of those too, cabbage, and then things like tomatoes, cucumbers, uh, okra. I love okra. If you don't love okra, I don't know what to tell you. It's amazing. I eat it all different kinds of ways. I eat it pickled. I'll eat it boiled, but it has to be done right. Um, I'll eat it fried. Yeah, okra is good. But anyway, so beans. Beans are also going to have some fiber in it. What else? Nuts. Nuts are going to be full of fiber. So you just want to find fiber rich foods. It'll always say it on the back of the label. You can also get pastas and things like that that are rich in fiber. Um, I said beans. Beans are definitely going to be rich in fiber. Beans are some of the highest items in fiber. Soy, believe it or not, has a good amount of fiber. And then the other thing is if you eat like low carb breads and low carb tortillas, like Carb Balance, the thing that they replace the flour with is going to be fiber. So those tend to have higher sources of fiber. Now, I'm not saying go out and just buy a bunch of carb balanced tortillas, but if you do like tortillas and you know you're not getting enough fiber, that might be a good switch for you. Um, the other thing is supplementation. So you can do, I recommend psyllium husk. It's an easy fiber to find. And you find it typically where you find things like benefiber, metamucil, which are two other fibers that you can use. But psyllium husk is just the husk of a psyllium seed or plant or whatever it's called. And it it's a little weird in the water. I ain't gonna lie to you. When you put it in the water to blend it and all of those things to drink it, it gets a little thick. So you gotta pour it in the water, use a coffee blender, and then drink it really quickly. Another thing about fiber that you want to think about is how much, right? How much fiber do you need in a day? Well, most of us need about 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day. Now, because we are either not eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, or we may be eating a nice amount of fruits and vegetables, but we're not focusing on how much fiber we're getting. Most of us are not getting enough fiber in the day. And when you start, if you decide to supplement fiber, or if you are making a conscious effort to eat more fiber, take your time. Okay, slowly increase. Let's say, for example, if you are supplementing with the psyllium husk, um, um, you can go all the way up to 2 tablespoons mixed into like 8 ounces of water. I always tell people to start out with like a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons. You go up to 2 tablespoons, it's not going to end well for you, my friend. I'm just trying to tell you. The other thing is when you are making sure you're getting enough fiber, make sure you're getting enough water, because those two things balance each other out when it comes to digestion and having proper bowel movements. So if you're not drinking enough water, it ain't coming out. Or if it do come out, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. So make sure you're drinking enough water. Go back and listen to my water episode if you don't know how much water you should be drinking in a day. But if you're drinking enough water and eating enough fiber, getting at 25 to 30 grams, it's definitely going to help with your digestion, and it's going to help with that microbiome. One of the cool stories that I have is I had a lady who came to me, and she didn't come for digestive issues or gastric issues, GI health issues at all. She came for something completely different. But as we were talking, she started telling me about her GI issues. And so we came up with a game plan. We started supplementing fiber, got her on a good probiotic. And she basically the next time she came back, she was like, I didn't realize how bad it was until it was better. And now, you know, the last time I saw her, she basically said she didn't have any of those issues. She got her regimen going. She drinks her water. She takes her fiber. She takes her probiotics, and she is good to go. And speaking of probiotics, so as I said earlier, fiber helps to feed the gut macrobiome, right? So it is what we call prebiotics. So whenever you hear prebiotics, you might as well just think of fiber. There are a couple other things that they can eat that are not necessarily fiber, but fiber is pretty much going to be a prebiotic. So fiber definitely helps to feed those good gut bacteria, and we need those bacteria to help our body stay healthy. They help with our immune health. They help with our digestion overall. They've even been linked to our nervous system and our brain health and things like that. So our digestive system is very important. The gut microbiome is very important. And one of the things that help to set the foundation for a good digestive system and a good gut microbiome is going to be that fiber. So, all of that to say, make sure you're getting enough fiber in, make sure you're eating your fruits, your vegetables, getting those whole foods in, eating beans. I mean, beans are super high in fiber. That's why they have the rhyme beans, good for the heart. The more you eat them, the more you, right, because they're high in fiber. So, giving you all the cheat codes here today to make sure that you are getting enough fiber in your diet and that you are not a part of that 97%. I'm trying my hardest not to be. I hope you are too. And we are back with Chef Boy RDN Tries It. So this week I have a very special guest with me, somebody who always seems to make me laugh. Actually, makes me laugh so hard that sometimes I pass out. That guest today is my wife. She's here with us, my lovely wife. So, for today Tries It, or Chef Boy RDN Tries It, we are going to try some sodas. These are we have Poppy, and then we have another soda that is Aldi's dupe. So tell me, what do you know about Poppy?
I know that I prefer Poppy over Olipop.
For sure, for sure.
Specifically the cola flavor. It's my fave.
Okay. Yes, and that's kind of why I got you here today because I know you are a Poppy fan. Um, I'm a Olipop fan. Now, I will tell you really quickly that Poppy and Olipop both kind of came on the scene around the same time, and they promoted the idea of a prebiotic soda. Now, Poppy got into a little bit of a fire because it didn't have as much fiber as they kind of promoted it to be. It's kind of average. It's mid at best. It's only about 3 grams of fiber per serving versus a Olipop, which is my personal favorite, which has about 9 grams per serving. So today we are going to try the dupe. We know what the Poppy tastes like, but we want to see what Pops tastes like in comparison. So before we even get into trying anything, just tell me, what do you think is going to happen? What are your overall thoughts going into this?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm open minded. I mean, they're both red cans, so maybe they'll be similar in flavor.
Facts. Love it. All right, so let's give it a try. So I'm going to grab one, you grab one, and then we'll switch off. And we'll just pour it, and let's look at it as we pour. Oh wow, I didn't expect that. Yours is
Clear,
clear.
which is different.
Yes, and mine's of course is Poppy's, you know, rose colored, I guess.
Mm. Mm. This Pops smells like medicine.
It does have that cherry syrup flavor or smell, that cough syrup smell, right?
Yes.
Kids Robitussin.
Yes. With a
Now,
splash of Sprite.
what's the Poppy? What do you feel about that smell in comparison?
It smells more inviting. It's fruity, but not as like artificially fruity. So
Facts. What I will say is, I think that this one smells like cherry limeade. Like it smells like
Mm-hmm.
what it's supposed to smell like. The other one does not smell like cherry limeade.
Yeah.
As far as the looks, what do you think about the cans? So this is Pops.
So the Pops can, it doesn't look as inviting. It kind of reminds me of something nostalgic, like a throwback can for Coca Cola. Like it
Mm.
doesn't look like it belongs in 2025. And the Poppy can, as always, I love Poppy. So very inviting, vibrant, colorful, not too busy, but just enough.
All right, if you were to give it a letter grade, what would you say for Pops?
Off of just the
The can.
can.
Mm-hmm.
Pops, I'm a C plus,
Okay, and Poppy,
A for
of
sure.
course. All right, so now let's give it a try. We can start with the Pops. Immediately,
Oh my god, that's disgusting.
immediately, no. It tastes. You know what? The thing that I like about Poppy and Olipop is they do a pretty good job of making it not taste super like,
Fake.
yeah, like I can taste the artificial sugar in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now with Poppy and Olipop, I'm not gonna say it's one for soda. Like you can tell it's something different in there.
Mm-hmm.
But this just tastes like, I don't even know.
It tastes like flat Sprite that's been left in your car overnight. It doesn't taste
Yeah.
good at all.
Not a fan. Okay,
No.
going back to our old Poppy.
Hey, Poppy. Mm,
Much better. And I'm not even a super Poppy fan. I'll drink it, but
I
in
like.
comparison, way better.
I like.
Okay,
Top
so
three. Top three Poppy flavors for sure.
okay, that's interesting. Tell me. So of course, cola is number one.
Mm-hmm.
Cherry limeade, and what else?
So I tried a few different poppies. My coworker used to bring them to me. And I'm going to say, as my third, it's that green bottle. And I think it's a limeade type one. It is clear.
Mm.
It's supposed to be clear. And it kind of tastes like a 7 Up, but a
Yeah,
little
I think it's
flat.
probably a lemon lime kind
Yeah,
of
that's
vibe.
it.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
good.
Okay. So, where would you rank this in all of the poppies that you have tasted? Where would you put Pops?
Pops. It's not, I don't even think it's gonna make my list. I tried it, hated it. F. It's a fail.
So, long story short, Aldi's, get us in the lab.
Yeah,
Well, listen, we won't charge that much.
my taste buds be buzzing.
You know what I'm
Okay,
saying? We
so
gotta, we know what we talking about. So
mm-hmm.
y'all should get us in here. We gotta remake this. Don't sell this no more.
No
Y'all can get rid of this. We're done with it. But definitely go out and get you a poppy. Maybe
yes
not a pops.
cola. Trust me.
All
Oh, you
right.
know what? It was actually I think another flavor of cola that I liked.
Was it the cherry cola?
Yes,
Cause
top
I
three:
know. Cause I know.
cola, cherry limeade.
Cause I know. And now for the vitamin of the week. This week's vitamin is going to be vitamin C. Vitamin C, a pretty common vitamin, right? The formal name is ascorbic acid, and vitamin C helps with immune system support. That's kind of what we know it to do, and it helps with the white blood cells, helps them to function better. It also helps as an antioxidant. It helps to fight free radicals and relieve oxidative stress, which both of those things can lead to things like cancer. So, antioxidants are always going to be very good for the body to help prevent cancer. It also helps with collagen production. So, when you do not have enough vitamin C, you can see it in your collagen, and joint health, things like that. Your bones, your joints, not your bones, but your joints. You'll feel it basically. The other thing that it helps with is iron absorption. So if you ever are anemic, one of the hacks that they will tell you to do is take iron with some form of vitamin C, whether it's like orange juice or something like that. Because when you have vitamin C present as the iron is digesting, it absorbs into the body better. So that's a little tip for you. Lastly, it's good for your brain health. So vitamin C does a lot of good things in the body. Now, where can you find vitamin C? Well, everybody knows the poster child for vitamin C is citrus in general, specifically oranges. But all citrus is going to have vitamin C. Now, fun fact, there are other common foods that we eat that are richer or have more vitamin C than citrus. And that would include things like strawberries. Strawberries has more vitamin C in it than citrus fruit. Um, Also, kiwi. Kiwi has more vitamins in it, or more vitamin C in it than citrus fruit. And then finally, bell peppers. Bell peppers have more vitamin C in it than citrus fruit. So just remember and be mindful that it's not just the citrus. You can get it from strawberries, you can get it from bell peppers, you can get it from kiwis. You can also get it from things like mangoes. You can get it from Brussels sprouts, broccoli, your leafy vegetables. So again, the turnip greens, mustard, collard, kale, all of that. You can get vitamin C from that. And tomatoes. I was trying to read my writing. You can also get it from tomatoes. So that is all of the main places that you can get vitamin C from. Now, deficiency. This will mess you up. One of the ways that people discovered that we need vitamin C is through the disease called scurvy. So I don't know if you've ever heard about scurvy, but scurvy was what the pirates used to get. They would go on these long trips and they would just start getting sick. Gums would start bleeding, teeth would start falling out, skin would start sagging and looking weird, joint pain, and eventually it would actually lead to death. This went on for a long time. And one day, one of the pirates or the people that was on the pirate ship, he brought limes with him. I believe it was limes. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the fruit was limes, but I know it was some form of citrus. And they found out for whatever reason, nobody got scurvy. And so that's when they discovered that citrus, which is why citrus is kind of the poster child for vitamin C. That's when they discovered that citrus is the cure for scurvy. So scurvy happens when you are extremely deficient in vitamin C. And I've actually seen it once. It's very rare to happen now. Most people, you get your vitamin C from somewhere. But I actually saw it once in the hospital. I was very shocked. It was a patient that I was seeing, and she had nephrotic syndrome. Now, if you don't know about nephrotic syndrome or renal issues in general, typically when you are getting closer to being on dialysis or you're retaining a lot of fluid, things like that, those people kind of don't have a big appetite. They just don't have a big appetite. And so the thing, she wasn't eating a lot, but what she was eating, it had no vitamin C whatsoever. And so she started having the bleeding gums and all of those things. And they checked her levels, and she like, there was no vitamin C to be found. So um, it can still happen in very rare occasions, but it's very highly likely that you don't get that level of deficiency. But you still can be somewhat deficient. When you are deficient, you can have fatigue, again, bleeding gums, poor wound healing. So these are the things that you want to watch out for. Now, there is not really a toxicity, but there is an upper limit recommendation of about 2,000 milligrams per day. And the reason why is if you overconsume vitamin C, it can actually lead to upset stomach and diarrhea. So you don't really want to be dealing with diarrhea from eating too much vitamin C. That just sounds kind of crazy, to be honest. That is everything on vitamin C. So I hope you learned something new today. So I want to thank you for joining me today on the Chef Boy RDN podcast. I hope you learned something new about fiber. Honestly, make sure you're getting some. Remember, you need about 25 to 30 grams per day, and 97% of us aren't getting enough. So if you're in that 97%, go out, get you some fiber today. The other thing to remember is do not overdo it, right? You don't go from 0 to 100, or it'll take a minute and it might hurt. All right. Make sure you are drinking some water. Make sure you are drinking some water when
Some
you are.
gasoline. I'm sorry.
Not for real though. Make sure y'all drinking some water when y'all increasing this fiber. And I hope you enjoyed Chef Boy RDN Tries It. Of course, with my lovely co-host on that segment.
Hey.
Yes, we're gonna have to have her back. Well, actually, I'm gonna ask y'all, do we need to have her back? I got some ideas on some things that I definitely can get her to join me and help me with. All of this next time. All this fun, all this enjoyment. And next time, actually, we're going to talk about something that y'all have asked me a lot about, which is weight loss. And I'm going to let you in on some of my secrets. So next time we talk, I'm going to tell you what I would do if I wanted to lose 20 pounds in 2 to 3 months. All this next week on the Chef Boy RDN podcast. Y'all have a good day.
Bye bye.